ended up with a product which was more meant for one man's enjoyment, as opposed to, hundreds of thousands and millions of people instead.
Do you feel he's become complacent enough, with the fact that there's no competition, no other thing out there except for what he puts out there, that he thinks that no matter what he does, no matter what he throws in the ring, what storyline he comes up with, the fans are going to flock to it anyways just because there's no competition?
Well, honestly, I honestly believe that Vince McMahon honestly believes his shit doesn't stink. I mean, I'm not pulling any punches on that. I mean, nothing. I mean, TNA tried briefly to go off and go head-to-head with WWE, and it failed, but then they had Hogan and Bischoff leading it up, so that was, the first big mistake. But yeah, I mean, honestly, there's nothing. I mean, is WWE the best product that is out there? Absolutely not. If you guys really are into professional wrestling, I suggest you go check out companies like Ring of Honor or Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, or my personal favorite, Chikara. And you can, if you go on YouTube, a lot of wrestling promotions now do their weekly shows on YouTube as well. So, I mean, there are, tons of alternatives. There's even, there are a bunch of indie companies will actually, go off and contribute in matches, and every, couple months or so, they'll actually have something that's called Raw Alternative. And so we'll see, these great indie matches, on YouTube directly against Monday Night Raw on the USA Network in the States. So, but yeah, I mean, so yeah, absolutely. Vince McMahon really does seem out of touch. Anybody who's watched NXT though has got to go off and believe that there is some hope for WWE.
There is hope for WWE. The problem with that though is the only hope for the WWE is if Vince McMahon pulls his head out of his ass, steps down, and hands the company over to someone with a fresh pair of eyes, new ideas, and no fear moving forward. Of changing things up and accepting new things.
And this is true because, I mean, people are thinking, well, look at what, Triple H has managed to do with NXT. Why isn't he being able to do this, on the main roster? Well, the big thing is that Triple H can do as much as he likes to try to go off and to, lead and guide Vince into doing these things. But at the end, Vince is the man in charge. And so honestly, I honestly believe that, barring a health crisis in his life, which was part of the reason why his own father ended up selling him, Worldwide Wrestling Federation to begin with, I don't think we're going to see Vince going anywhere anytime soon. No,
and I do completely agree. Like, I've never personally wished for someone to, get ill or whatever. But I think for the WWE to thrive in the future, to continue to become, a business that is very well respected, very, well watched, he needs to step down. He needs to, step away from it. Because
or he just needs to go off and start listening.
That'll never happen.
The problem is that he has went up and he has stated he is no longer worried about ratings anymore, particularly since they have the WWE Network, so ratings don't mean as much to him as before. There might have been a time where, if the ratings really sucked, the network could go off and could pressure him into going off and making changes to bring the ratings up.
And I think that's why he came up with the whole, WWE Network, is so he doesn't have to be pressured. He doesn't have to change his mind. He doesn't have to, listen to other people. It's what he wants, when he wants it, how he wants it.
Yeah, exactly. It's really sad because if you look at some of the stars who've come up within the last 2 or so years from NXT, few or any of them have really had a lot of success. I mean, the only ones who've really had success are Kevin Owens and all 3 members of the Shield.
And a lot of that is because of the popularity behind them. He almost had no choice. Kevin Owens has a huge fan base.
Kevin Owens is an incredible wrestler. I know you don't necessarily think he's a great talker.
I don't like him as a commentator, but I like him as a wrestler. He's got skill. He's got the attitude that belongs in the ring. Just stop giving him the damn microphone.
You know what? He's an absolute heat magnet, and I think that's part of the reason why they put
I'd
him
rather
on
be
the
a chick magnet than a heat magnet.
But, I mean, there are a few. I mean, Biggie Langston, who was a member of New Day, up until New Day, he kind of was a bit of a floater. He didn't seem to have much direction. It seems that once you fall out of the good graces of Vince, it's very hard to get back into the good graces.
See, the problem I have with that isn't so much falling out of the good graces of Grace. It's falling into them. Very few wrestlers have managed to actually hit this stardom moment, such as, Steve Austin, The Rock.
Oh, don't even get me started on Stone Cold Steve Austin. When Stone Cold Steve Austin was brought in, he was brought in at the same time as a wrestler by the name of Mark Merrow. And what they originally brought them in, they thought Mark Merrow was going to be their next big star, and Stone Cold was just going to be a good, steady hand on the mid-card. Problem is that Mark Merrow was very pained by numbers. If you don't understand what that means, he seemed almost robotic in the ring and a lot of the stuff he did. Whereas opposed, you have Steve Austin, who, when he first was brought in, was a great talker, but was not utilized. They put him with, Ted DiBiase, who was, the $1 Million Man, but who's one of the greatest talkers of all time.
Not so much a wrestler.
Ted DiBiase was an incredible wrestler. He was, unfortunately, he came into, the company at an era where Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior were like the big stars. But, I mean, he's, often, considered by critics as being one of the greatest wrestlers never to win the WWE Championship. But, I mean, the problem was that, when Ted DiBiase left, Austin suddenly was allowed to get on the mic and started to pick up momentum, and Mark Merrow kind of got lost. But, I mean, again, Mick Foley, he was never considered to be a really big, he was never supposed to really get pushed the way he was. It was only when they went off and started bringing out his life story instead of going with the Mankind character, actually embracing Mick Foley himself, that that finally led to him becoming a big star. I mean,
see, Mick Foley is one of the only one who could be classified as a star under 3 different names.
Jimmy WWE Hardcore, he just lost the signal. And I don't know how far away into it. My goodness.
I'll restart my computer after.
Dude love.
Oh, whatever. We're going to end this.
Dude.
Hey, guys, and we're back. Apparently, even though I've moved the studio with my superhero powers, we are having difficulties to...
Champion. And
Vince McMahon isn't beating as many stars as they, once did. They weren't planned to be stars when they first came in. But he still had somewhere in the back of his mind, somebody instead of them was going to be a star.
And, I mean, there's Roman Reigns.
We're going to end this show soon anyways. I usually only do half hour. Hey, guys, welcome back. We've been talking a lot. I think we're going to actually,
we're going
to end this show tonight. We usually only do 30 minutes for SOS, just because... Usually it's a solo show, and I don't like talking all that time because...
Anyway, but
whatever.
I was just saying that, Roman Reigns is not a very good talker, but yet Vince McMahon has him as, the company's big star, whereas they could be pushing someone even like a Dean Ambrose.
Oh, I would love to see Dean Ambrose as a star. Dean Ambrose is a star in my eyes.
As, definitely, Dean Ambrose could definitely carry the company. There's a lot of people there who are really good talkers, who've come up through NXT and have been really, who can talk, who can wrestle. And if Vince McMahon would give these guys a chance, they would do really well. And it's unfortunate just how many of these people who've been brought up to the main roster only for Vince to get really sour on them too quickly. And,
he sucks on the microphone.
I mean, they did have to go on the indie scene. You know what? I'm done talking.
Yeah. So, guys, we're gonna, pretty much end the show now.
This really sucks, man. I can't. I swear, I think WWE is trying to stop me from talking.
I think so. Damn that Vince McMahon. So anyways, as usual, we'll plug our Twitter. And yes, my lovely guest of the honor tonight.
What? Thank you. You called me lovely.
Can plug his Twitter tonight as well. So, you can follow me, the host with the most. Damn. I was almost the hostess. Okay. At Real CAPT Fizz, so at Real Captain Fizz. You can follow this wonderful bearded masked fellow
at That Mask Guy. You can follow our podcast at FizzMashShow.com.
Or you can just go to the website
I did actually
www.fizzmashshow.com. We got everything up there. Look it up. We got t-shirts going on sale very shortly, as well as coffee mugs.